Hey,
Hello.
how you doing?
Hi. How's it going?
Yeah, very well, very well. Thanks for having me. Let me know if I need headphones or anything, if you're getting any audio feedback or anything on your end. I can
No, we seem to be all right. Anyway, I'll introduce myself. I'm Pete.
Awesome. Nice to meet you, Pete. I'm Corey.
Yeah. So good to see you. Um, yeah, so just catching up for a bit of a chat, and you're playing Electric Eye in a few weeks.
Yeah, yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to being back in Perth.
absolutely. How often you been over here?
I think like maybe well with DYSSIDIA, I think maybe two or three times
Cool.
potentially, maybe three. I think yeah, three. I think so. Yeah, but not for quite a while. Like maybe about like 5 years or so. I think last one was 2019, so it's been like longer than that.
Right. So before the last album was released.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. We had like all the standard COVID setbacks, especially releasing the previous album, like or like our current one. But we released that March 2020, so it was just like a bit of a nightmare
Oh
trying to get
God, yeah, you
outside.
timed it perfectly, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, we nailed it.
Okay. Right. For those that don't know Dissidia, tell me about the band. How did you get together? What makes you work as a crew?
Well, we got together like I mean the band sort of formed like under like a like a different name, and it was like late kind of high school actually. Just trying to get a band together, and like under kind of like influences of progressive metal sort of stuff like Opeth and Dream Theater, and those sort of bands were like really influential in like late teens, early adulthood, that sort of thing. And yeah, it was just like a matter of just writing music at home and then trying to find like-minded musicians. And yeah, like Neil and Mitch, still with the band, and they're like two of the founding members. And Liam joined only a few years really after the proper inception of the band, maybe only a couple. So it's been more or less the same lineup with a couple of different keyboard players at different times. But yeah, we've just stuck as a four-piece now for yeah, the remainder of the time. But it was yeah, definitely a early adulthood, late teens kind of formation, and yeah, just been jamming since then.
Cool. And obviously grown and matured as a band since then. I mean, Costly Signals is a great album. It's
Oh,
uh,
thanks.
yeah. How would you describe your sound to those that don't know you yet?
Yeah, it's like a bit of a hard one to like totally pigeonhole. Like and describe easily, but like I guess just like generally progressive metals and
Yeah.
tends to fit relatively well with like at least a meaning that has like relevance to most people kind of understand what progressive metal's getting at. So I think generally like it still fits pretty well in that genre, but it's even that genre itself is just so broad, like
Yeah.
with the differing bands. It's hard to say, but I guess we try to kind of have like really big sort of like big dramatic themes and that sort of stuff. And I guess like the music's usually like relatively intense or dramatic. Like a lot of the time, I guess it's not as like like easygoing or relaxed heaps of the time as some other progressive bands can be. Like so, we're probably a little bit more on the intense side of the spectrum, but yeah, not as heavy as others. Still, I don't know, hard to describe.
No, I was listening to it today. There's some fantastic stuff on there. How long have you been playing guitar yourself? What sort of age did you start? Because some of your solos on that album are fantastic.
Oh, thanks. I think it's like actually just about the 20-year mark now because I'm 30 and yeah, I started playing when I was 10. So
Yeah.
like yeah, and but kind of didn't really take it too serious until like early to mid high school maybe. Like 14, 15 and around then I like started practicing seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got the ultimatum from my parents. They were like, you need to like, go to uni or start paying rent and get a job after high school. And I didn't want to do anything at uni except for music. So I was like, well, I'm going to practice really hard as well and get into music. So I'd rather do that than like be thrown into the real work world like full time straight after high school. So and it was like a blessing in disguise at the time, I think. So yeah, got me practicing lots through those formative years.
I can't remember who said it, but there was one guitarist, some famous guitarist that gave advice to young people saying, practice till your fingers bleed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think it's too bad of advice. Just got to get some Dettol on the fingers or something, after. But
Well, it's been over 4 years since the last album. Can we expect new stuff next year or?
Yeah, yeah. So we've been kind of like silently like working on a whole album in the background over the last few years. Like yeah, and it's now come together and it's like final mixing stages. And yeah, we haven't really made too many announcements about it, but we've been working pretty hard and it's sounding fantastic. Yeah, we haven't announced it like properly and publicly yet, but it's just been finished by Sam Vallon from Caligula's Horse. And
Nice.
so he's taking care of the mixing duties and
Welcome.
good again.
I'm so
Thanks.
sorry about the other night. I was listening to you talking away about making the new album, and all of a sudden everything went black. And I had a complete.
Yeah.
It took out everything in the local area until about 1:30 in the morning. So I'm.
Oh man. No, that's all good. That's all good. It was like you were just stuck frozen on the screen for a while, and I think I still talked for about a minute straight, thinking you were
Oh
just like
God.
really concentrating or something, and then I'm like,
Uh,
I don't think it's coming back.
all right. I think we'll just carry on from where we left off. But
Yeah, sounds good.
thank you for coming back and chatting again.
Yeah, no worries. It'll be yeah.
We were right in the middle of you talking about producing the new album.
Oh yeah, yeah, yep, yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, we haven't really given much info on it yet. So I guess like yeah, some of the information that I'll be talking about regarding the album today is pretty fresh, but like yeah, it's probably due to come out early next year, something like that timeline. We're keeping it pretty rough just in case, there's good opportunities for touring or we're not too sure. We'll probably lightly shop it to labels, but most likely looking to just do an independent release anyway. And yeah, but timeline hoping for early next year to mid this sorry, early next year to mid next year around that timeline. But yeah, yeah, it's sounding great at the moment. And
Good, good.
yeah, I think I mentioned yeah, Sam Vallon from Caligula's Horse doing the mix and doing some like co-producing sort of stuff as well, like in the final mix stages and adding a few nice touches that have been like really really awesome. So yeah, it's shaping up to be an awesome album. Like it's sort of exceeded expectations, I think, a little bit for us on a personal level. So we're pretty happy.
Oh, nice, nice. Are we going to hear anything from the new album when you play Electric Eye?
Yeah, so we're going to be playing one of the new songs. So yeah, so we will just have one that will kind of debut. Like we're kind of keeping it like relatively, I guess, like guarded at the moment with the rest of the tracks until we get maybe a couple of singles out or something. But yeah, definitely one new track to be expected at Electric Eye.
Excellent. So, talking of the festival, I mean, that's only what, just over a couple of weeks away, 5th of
Yeah.
October. Are you looking forward to playing?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and yeah, like I mentioned earlier, it's just been like ages since we played in Perth, like as DYSSIDIA. So,
Yeah,
yeah, really really looking forward to it, and yeah, it's going to be great, like being able to sort of like play with like bands like Soul Dusk and
yeah.
Cryptcrawler, of course, Psychoptic. Like it's a great bill. So yeah,
It's
we're
a,
really
it's a
looking forward
brilliant
to it.
one. I mean, Jess has done a fantastic job with it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah. Kudos to Jess.
I'm going to put you on the spot. So, besides yourselves, who are you most looking forward to seeing?
Oh, yeah, I think like yeah, like I said, like I mean, Critical, Soul Dusk, and Psychroptic are probably right up there for me with like with my few favorites. But maybe Soul Dusk this time because like it's been a while. I think it was maybe about 2 years ago or so at Blacken that I saw them and they were pretty incredible. Some like fantastic vocal harmonies
Hmm,
and like just like great kind of like like Opeth-esque kind of like inspired harmony and
yeah,
that sort of thing with the chord progressions and yeah they just got a great sound, but I've only seen them properly that one time, so like
yeah.
I'm really keen to see them again. But yeah, always a crowd favorite with Psychroptic, and yeah, Cryptcall are a lot of fun as well, so yeah.
And of course, you guys are going to be absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah, thanks, no pressure.
I mean, what's your favorite thing about playing live? I mean, what's the real buzz you get?
I guess it's just that sort of like in the moment kind of like expressiveness, and it's sort of like hard to get that in the jam room, I guess a little bit. Like there's that sort of like different element brought with the performing side of things versus just like rehearsing it or even like just listening back to it or something like that. So or creating it. It's quite a different element, I guess, when playing it live. So yeah, I just kind of like really like that energy and the kind of like everyone sort of like jamming off of each other in the band, and yeah, it's that sort of and that sort of crowd energy as well. I guess it's just like yeah, different sort of level of excitement, at the time compared to sort of like the recording process or whatever else, related to the band. So it's pretty unique, and yeah, just like that sort of like high energy sort of yeah feeling that we kind of get when we perform.
Brilliant. Are there any absolute standout moments from your gigs over the years? Is there anything that really sticks in your mind as being right up there as yeah, the one thing that you always go back to?
Yeah, I like for me personally, it was like really early on for DYSSIDIA, but like was playing like a support to Opeth in 2015. Um,
Yeah,
like that was like one of probably my favorite shows of all time, just because it was like sold out at the Gov in Adelaide, and it was just us opening for
yeah.
Opeth directly after, and we got a good amount of time to like speak with them and chat afterwards, and they were like really hospitable, and yeah, and they were kind of like one of those like childhood favorite bands, I guess. So for all of us, so I think we're all sharing that like same excitement and everything, and yeah, it was really like inspiring, formative kind of show. I think for all of us in the band. So always kind of look back at that. There was also like all the Progfest runs as well, and getting to play with like bands like Leprous and Voyager and Caligula's Horse, and yeah, doing those sort of shows as well, and those tours, James Norbert Avani. Yeah, like kind of look back at all those tours with like a lot of fond memories, and yeah, yeah, pretty awesome. But probably if I had to pick one, the Opeth show, I think yeah, that's probably the biggest highlight and one of the more formative kind of shows from early on.
So, I mean, Dissidia have been together, what, for the best part of 10 years, a bit longer?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's
So
been it's been quite a while now.
you got all these amazing experiences and all these live shows under your belt. If you were going to give some advice to somebody starting out, yeah, yeah, say we got, sort of teenagers looking in or whatever, who are just starting their first bands, what advice would you give them?
I would say probably, like I think just following like your gut instinct, with like exactly what you want to do and like the sound that you kind of want to go after, and not like overcomplicating your thought process too much with like, okay, well, like people really like this about songs or this about certain genres or so maybe I'm going to aim to do more of this in the song, and kind of having those sort of like secondary kind of like sort of filters or like judgments on like what your like sound or your aesthetic should be, I think like that stuff can just kind of like overcomplicate the thought process and bog it down the overall vision, so I think it's like good to just like really stick to your guns and just like be like super creative in like the thing that's really inspiring to you, and like really follow your gut in that sense.
That's good. I'll pass that on to my son as an aspiring guitarist.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, awesome. I hope he's practicing hard.
He is, he is. I think he's hoping to come along so you might meet him.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Um, so just a couple of things to finish off. Yeah, what's the thing that you like most about your style of guitar? What do you think makes you different as a guitar player to a lot of your peers?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I guess yeah, it's a hard one to answer. I guess like there's, like for example, I find like when playing with like like Matt Walters in Freedom of Fear, and he's like such a like monster guitar player. And we can do a lot of the same things, and then he's still got a bit of a different like sound and a unique personality within his soloing verse. Like my sort of style, and I find that can be like comparable, and I guess at different like different varying degrees with like other guitarists as well, like around. So I always find it hard to I guess pinpoint or like I do like this thing that's really unique or
Yeah.
something like that. But maybe I don't know, like a lot of the kind of influence I guess like for maybe the way I might think about melodies or building sort of lines on guitar. Maybe a lot of that comes from a lot of the classical guitar kind of
Hmm.
formative years and stuff, and a little bit of some of that time spent at the con, and like I guess like quite often if I'm trying to build like maybe like a guitar solo or like a guitar melody or something like that, I'm trying to maybe think about it like a little bit less like a direct guitar kind of piece of music, and trying to think more like, okay, like maybe I could hear like a really good like, what a vocalist would do here, or like, maybe like what a like violin player or like an oboe or something. You can kind of like think of like different instrument tonalities and
Yeah.
things like that, and it kind of like I guess ends up leading you into thinking of like how to play something maybe a little bit differently on the guitar, like versus like what you might have if you thought like, okay, like what are the guitar licks I know, and I'm gonna like try and cram them into this solo. Like just try and think of it as more of a broader like tool for like being expressive with like general melodies and things like that, and taking inspiration from lots of different parts of music. And I know that's not unique to me, but like that's definitely I think like a thing that I like to do that maybe some other guitarists won't do as much. So maybe that's a kind of unique-ish approach. But I definitely know there's other musicians out there that would do that. But
So you
yeah,
bring a lot of that sort of classical training that you had when you were learning into the music now.
yeah, for sure. It's hard to kind of like unfit like well, it's kind of hard to forget it. I guess like there's some of that stuff where I might think of something sounding like in terms of a harmony, maybe more like a counterpointy sort of style harmony, like where you get these sort of like lines not traveling in certain directions. So it's not just like maybe thirds traveling parallel or fifths or octaves or whatever parallel everywhere through the harmony. Maybe you're getting this contrary motion moving and thinking of things in more of like relationship of the intervals to each other and stuff like that. Like some of that stuff is just, yeah, it kind of like automatically kind of comes into the thinking a little bit more just because it's a bit ingrained. And I think that ends up like shaping, yeah, definitely some of the guitar parts. Like there's a few of those kind of like little counterpointy moments like sprinkled across the new album. And yeah, I really like that sort of stuff. Yeah, just feels kind of nice and expressive. I don't know. I just like the way it sounds.
Well, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Uh, you've actually frozen yourself now. Uh, we might need to edit this a little bit.
Are you still there, Pete?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
I thought
oh,
I
I
got
thought I
twice
lost
there
you to
for a
the
moment.
I thought I lost you to the blackout part too.
I was getting worried myself for a second there because you completely froze. I'll hang
Yeah,
on for a minute, see if it comes back. We're doing well here.
yeah.
The
That's
gremlins are
awesome.
after us on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe we catch up face to face in a couple of weeks. We might get a power cut coming in. Um,
Yeah.
all right. Look, just to finish off, you've got the new album coming out next year. Obviously, we're going to get some live shows.
Yep.
Hopefully, we'll see you back in Perth. What are your long-term goals for the band? Where do you see yourself heading into the future?
Yeah, yeah, it's a good question. I guess like we've been like so focused on just getting this sort of like album finalized. Like I haven't thought about like too much on the super long term horizon, but I mean like probably just the biggest goal in general as a band is sort of like just to retain like interest of listeners and stuff like and definitely incorporating like more live shows and everything. But I think like we probably took like that extra bit long to get this album finalized. And so I think like a good goal for the next one would be like maybe a little bit of a faster like process, maybe jump from this particular one we're about to release, maybe jump into writing like a little bit quicker or something. And I think like just retaining like good output of like new music and that sort of thing. I feel like we get a lot out of the kind of creative recording process, and it like really helps sort of like give us the sort of like meat to go out there and then tour with it. So or a bit of the ammunition to sort of go tour. So I think like just maybe focusing a little bit on a faster release schedule for the next one, or not to put any pressure on ourselves, but yeah, just get started on the writing process a little bit quicker. I think would be good this time around. Yeah, and just focus on that sort of good retention of like yeah audience, whether it's like national or international. Like we've got like a good like small following out of like some a lot of the South American countries
Oh yeah.
and yeah and so we figured like well we probably won't have like a really good opportunity anytime soon to get over there unless something nice pops up our way but like so for I guess I'm always thinking about like well I'd love to kind of keep it relevant and new stuff for the
Hmm.
international crowd as well so definitely like I think focus on just more recording. And because this one was quite heavily self-produced and recorded, more so than the others, even though they've all had parts of that like along the way. But this one has become a lot more independent than the prior ones again. So I think like now that that's like a little bit more of a possibility, I think we can like move forward on the kind of process of like just smashing out new music a little
Excellent. I'm
bit
looking
quicker.
forward to it. So,
Yeah.
what
No,
the
no,
album
very
release?
excited. It should be good, and yeah, more shows, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to Electric Eye in a couple of weeks.
Yep. Yeah,
We'll catch
definitely.
up then. Hopefully your flights are all booked and there's going to be no delays and you'll make it on time.
Yeah. No, definitely. Flights are all booked. Delays we can't guarantee, I guess, but like touch wood and
Well,
yeah.
I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Have a good one. And thanks for chatting, even though we had some interesting interruptions.
Yeah, no worries. No, I appreciate it. Thanks heaps, Pete. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks with Electric Eye. It should be awesome.
No worries. I'll see you there. Have a good one. Cheers.
Mate, you too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.